you're driving down the street and you're in the right-hand lane, and a Mach-E comes across at 60 miles an hour, or no, 95 miles an hour at 60 degrees and misses your bumper by 4 inches. Okay? So that's where we're going to start. That's what happens. Okay? This is the how perceptions are formed. Okay? So in our world, when we talk about doing a clearing, we start with facts. Right? So the facts are, we got a Mach-E with a youngish driver, male, who is driving at 95 miles an hour and cuts across from the left-hand lane into your lane and misses your front bumper by 4 inches. Okay? That's real. Right? So there's an interesting thing that happens inside, and you can follow along on your handout. Your brain and your body and your emotion. Okay? And this is how perceptions are formed. Okay, so the first thing that happens, we have an emotional reaction. Probably going to be fear right away, but then anger probably soon after that. You know, but yeah, right? Might have this happen. And then the next thing we do is we make a judgment. Right? It's either a positive judgment or a negative judgment. I'm going to use an example that's pretty negative, but you could also go into a positive cycle here. I'll show you. We can talk about it if you want. Judgment is asshole. Right? So, next thing that happens is we add meaning to it. We add meaning to that judgment. And that meaning in this case might be something like, I can't believe how self-absorbed that punk is, and put us both at risk. Right? Alright? So and then the next thing we do is we look to the past for confirmation. Right? So the next thing is, this is about the 10th time that I've had a 25-year-old do something like this to me. Right? And the next thing we do is we make up a story. And then, right? We make up a story about what is. And the story is, in this case, we don't really know, but I'm making it up for us, is, you know, that's so typical of these young guys. Right? And then we predict the future. And my prediction in this case is I need to be totally on guard about these young punks in hot cars. Right? And then it starts over again. Right? So tell me how long you think this takes.
Seconds. Yeah, seconds.
Seconds. Less than 1. Okay? So, can I borrow yours? Okay. So that's what happens, right? When our brain just, it goes through it. And if you flip over on the other side, in that little table there's some things that kind of describe this at another level. All right? So, the perception pitfalls are, we always find evidence to support our point of view. We stop distinguishing between what happened and our interpretation. That's a biggie. Right? And the thing about clearings that I love so much is the reason we start with facts is because it starts to show that there's a difference between what we can see on a videotape and our interpretation. That's where our judgments come from about that man. Same thing here, right? Is that we stop distinguishing between what happened. Car went from one lane to the other, 60-degree angle, 95 miles an hour. Missed our bumper by 4 inches. All factual. Everything else is story. Right? Okay? So, and this mechanism is transparent. Right? Like, this is going on so fast that we often don't see it. Right? So, and then on the right-hand side, it impacts everything we hear, see, and say. And our power lies in our awareness, ownership, and choice. So now this is the place of how we make a difference with this. What do we do with this? How do we keep our missions on track? So that's where the hope is that just being aware that this is going on is one power move. The second one is that we can own that we make these judgments. And the third one is we have a choice about how we unwind it. All right? So, and then that last one is, the experience is real, yet that does not equal true. Right? Which is basically saying the same thing as everything over here is a story. Right? This is real, but it doesn't make it true about what we interpret what's going on. So, the question is, why am I bringing this up in relationship to missions? This is what it can pull us off track, right? This transparent process that happens over and over and over again. And a little bonus idea is, what happens when we go around this many times? Do you have any idea what might be formed? Right. It becomes
I couldn't hear it.
It becomes a belief. Then it's locked in. Right. And that's where we keep reading. We always find evidence to support our point of view. And so what happens is it just drives it deeper. And when this is also good for the relationship missions one. By the way, this is where I use it the most, is in relationships and teams. We're actually using it for turning it on ourselves. I'm going to go to an example about how we turn this on ourselves. But in the relationship field, right, we call that you is somebody. Kevin is a hothead, right? Brian is a flake, right? So we take this, we get that reinforcement, right? And we is others, right? And that's where it becomes a belief, and that's what takes the power out of our ability to manifest our mission. It's like I'm not smart enough. You know, right?
This is where victim narratives come from.
Yep. Right. Good. So, real quick, let's do one that focuses on ourselves, right? How do we turn this perception on ourselves, right? We have 5 seconds of silence after we offer an idea in a meeting at work, right? Right? That's the facts. And then where can we go? This is just one example. We could go a lot of different places. It doesn't mean it's the only place, right? Emotional reaction is fear. Judgment is, that was a dumb idea, right? Add meaning. I never think things through. I look for past confirmation. Just like the last project, I did the same thing, right? And the story is, I just don't have what it takes. And I predict the future, I better just keep my mouth shut. Boom. Mission subverted. Right? This is just one example. But the idea here is, what I'm going to give you in a minute, is to think about where might these be, kind of hiding, right? Where are these self-perceptions that we might have that might get in the way of these beautiful missions that we have created? This is your mission, and I'm going to have you say it before you say God. That hoop up there is what you need to put that. You're going to score a goal every day in your mission, right? So every day we wake up and we make it through life to score. That's your job. And then you're going to be life too, and you're going to be like inviting and trying to distract them in a positive way. Your job is to be kind of scary. All right, so this is not super complicated. You got to have to go around here and around here, and then put the ball in the hoop. Okay? All right. But before you go, I really want you to take a deep breath, say what your mission is, and then head out.
I steward environments that encourage prosperity.
Yo, Everett, what's up, dude? Come on, over here. Dude, I'm score. Right, open.
This is Everett's perception of himself. And now, what I'd like you to do is you have a new challenge, and you got to get the same thing. You're waking up at the beginning of the day, and your job is to accomplish your mission for this day. But now you need to pick up this chair with both hands. So that's the perception you hold of yourself. Okay? And now you need to accomplish your mission. And you can't touch the ball. You have to hold the chair and get it in the hoop. Now, if this falls off, you can stop, put the chair down, get the ball back on, pick it back up, and continue. All right?
Okay.
All right. So, say your mission.
I steward environments that encourage prosperity.
Yo, Everett, what's up, dude? I'm important over here. Come here, dude. I got it. Over here, man. Come on, why are you not?
So, is there any chance that there's another self-perception you have of yourself? And now your job is to get the ball over there.
Okay.
All right. So, you get the point?
Yeah.
Almost impossible. All right. Thank you. Very good. So, what this silly little exercise shows, right, is like, it's not the end of the world. He still scored the basket, right? But what was that like?
More difficult. Slower, heavy.
Yeah.
Takes more effort.
So, the advantage of taking a look, right, and trying to do a little inventory about how you see yourself, right, and then being willing to put the chair down is just going to add acceleration for you to achieve your mission. So the invitation for you here is to look and see what is it that you might be judging yourself about based on some experiences, right? That you may have turned into a belief, or at least a set of judgments that are impacting you, right? And the idea here is what might you be able to do in order to set the chair down? Your lower brain, right, your lizard brain, your amygdala kicks in, right? And the amygdala sets adrenaline, shortens your breath, right, and robs your brain, your upper brain, of oxygen. So then you're in fight, flight, or freeze, right? So you go down into ancient brain, and that's where you're operating from. So why breathing is so huge is because it allows the oxygen to come back up into your upper brain, where your higher conscious is, where you can be at choice, right? And say, who am I in this moment? Like, and what do I stand for, right? I don't know. I'm going to get curious. You know, who knows? They're fell asleep. They're on their way to a wedding. They're, you know, who cares, right? Like, I'm safe. I'm okay. That sucked, and I'm going to move on about what I want to achieve, right? So our ability to take that breath, be with the emotional wave, allows us to stay grounded and then on mission. And that's important. Emotions are just energy. There's nothing good, there's nothing bad. It's just about being in the state. So our ability to ride the wave is really powerful. Because the insights, and I've seen this in group over and over again, when we let men, right, when we give them space to actually get into their emotional feeling and their emotional energy, the wisdom that comes on the other side is like 99.9 times out of 100. They shift. Something different shows up. Some insight or wisdom comes from that. And they say that this is anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute. Our ability to genuinely ride that wave for 30 seconds allows us to get to the other side and get the wisdom. So if we do that, if we build the skill and the muscle, which I feel that this group has a big advantage of because of our process, we truncate the whole cycle. We put a wrench in the whole thing. We don't let the story go because we just had the fear, and because the car cut across, we allow ourselves to just experience the fear. Right. We don't need to make up a story. We don't need to make up a judgment, right? We can get back into our bodies and then take action from that centered, grounded, mission-based place.